Hey everyone. Um, Got another little topic here. Um, I was actually wrote this to the Facebook group that I'm part of. If you're interested, it's called um, ASD or of course Autism Spectrum Disorder Village. Just look that up and you'll see where we are. If you're interested. Anyway, I was just thinking, and I wrote what I was writing about was that I know one of the things when I found out that I was neurodiverse. And actually, before I was officially diagnosed, um, one of the one of the many things I felt after going, oh, this is it, this is it, this is. It was the most bizarre thing. Still, I'm just amazed that you can, just have your life just about change instantly. At least the effects, the power of that knowledge was just amazing. But anyway, one of the things that I think I always struggled with, well, not only I think I did struggle with, was in terms of how to define it, um, it's sort of a sense of who I was. Um, it was just something was sort of missing from my life. I know it affected me. I remember, well, it's maybe more complicated than just the not knowing I was on the spectrum, but I'm pretty sure my father was on the spectrum, and he was a very dysfunctional member of the family, which makes me somewhat suspect it could have been, but there were other things going on. I won't get into the details about him, but um, I think that always sort of, I remember growing up, I remember saying I'm never going to be, I don't want to be, have a family or be married even, if it's going to be as dysfunctional as what I was in as a child. And I always felt like I needed to know who I was before I could know who I'd be compatible with, and before I could be a good father and all those things. Well, I never did. Never got married. Never had kids. Um, but once I had found that I was on the spectrum, um, there was more. There was sort of a sense of an emptiness being filled, and I think it answered, and it is still answering a lot of questions that I think I think I was wise to not get married. I mean, I think I probably could have gotten through it, but I think what it boils down to is if you don't know yourself, you don't know your needs, um, and part of the compatibility of somebody you're going to be with is that I won't say that they meet your needs, but there's a complementary relationship there, and part of that, before I can really, you know, you know, before I can live my life the way I want to live it and to be who I am, which is what I need to be in a relationship and be strong and confident with who I am and all this kind of thing. Anyway, but I now I'm wondering, here I'm 59, so it's too late for the family. I mean, I know it isn't, but it is. And at least I feel like. I mean, I don't know. We won't get into that. That's another whole story, isn't it? But but it was just an interesting thing. I actually on the forum was not sure if it's a common thing. I suspect it could be, at least to some degree, that without that knowledge of why the world appears the way it does, and the struggles that you've got, and I got some watermelon here that I'm going to eat while I'm. That was really bad, wasn't it? I shouldn't do that. I'll edit that out. Yeah, right. Um, anyway, it's just something, sort of a curiosity. I don't know if anyone else is feeling that way. And if you're younger, if you were diagnosed, I mean, here I'm 59, so I went, my life practically, or a big part of it, with that dilemma. Um, and it seemed to have really helped me. There's a peace, there's a contentment, there's a maybe it's, even if it's just a feeling. 'Cause I know that I searched. I was searching for answers. That it was one of those things where it's like I don't know what I'm looking for, but I'm gonna find it when I find it. I mean, I'll know what it is when I find it, and I did. Um, but I'm just curious how other people feel out there, and if you're not on the spectrum and you are just curious about what us late diagnosed people go through, that's one of the things, at least for me, I've gone through. Is a sense of self, and that was fulfilled by knowing that I am indeed autistic. And another component of that too is you don't have a community or family. There's a bizarre dynamic going on right now, and that is my sister might be on the spectrum too. I sent her some information about what the traits that women with Asperger's have, and I didn't think she was interested in it. And she wrote back a week ago or so, and at the time I watched that video, and I thought, oh, okay, here it goes. But no, she said, I cried. I cried during that whole thing. There's so many things I've denied. And I was like, whoa, there's more than I knew. So it was a really good chance my sister sent asked me, and well, we always got along. I mean, we're close, but I think we always had sort of a shared weirdness, really. I mean, now I look back at it, and it's like because we both will do things. We both have I don't remember the term, but where words you lose words when you're trying to talk, and I mean, and I'll say that, and I'm trying to think of watermelon, and I'll say that antelope instead of cantaloupe, or something weird, and we just don't miss a beat. It's like, yeah, no, it's fine, I'll go ahead. It's sort of funny. Um, so anyway, sense of self, it does help to know where you belong and who you are. So enough of that, 8 minutes in. Thank you for listening, and I will talk with you later. Bye-bye.